When you're traveling, there are days when everything falls into place, and other when everything goes haywire. This episode is exactly like that. My name is Leah, and my partner Quentin and I are traveling across the Americas by motorcycle, from the Arctic Ocean in Canada all the way to Patagonia in Argentina. We love to travel slowly. In the last episode, we were spending our final hours in Mexico after 11 months in the country.
Gracias, sencillas.
And nothing went as planned. A flat tire in the middle of a winding road, a dying battery, and nowhere to sleep.
Putain de dé de merde. Hopefully all our bad luck was for today and tomorrow will be super smooth. Good morning. This morning if we're waking up in a gas station, it's because yesterday was a shitty day, but I watched the previous video and today Quentin just received his new battery order last night in Express, so he's changing the new battery right now and we are packing everything and about to leave Mexico and cross the border to Guatemala. I am a little bit stressed because last time we crossed that border it lasted about 5 hours because the guy was super corrupted. I hope that's going to be better today. And all the bad luck was for yesterday, and today the border crossing was made smooth. Finger crossed.
Ah, sweet innocence. That morning I was convinced our mechanical problems were behind us, and that my biggest challenge of the day would be to stomach some bad coffee. So because we camped in a fuel station, we can do fire, so no coffee, but I do have emergency instant coffee. Oh no! Supposed to be a party. This is a bad day. Spoiler, I was way off the mark.
Fuel them. Bye!
In the last video, many of you had already figured it out. We hadn't a clue. The problem wasn't the battery, it was that it wasn't charging anymore. So naturally, we did what any beginner would do. We replaced the battery. Confident. Well, for 5 minutes. Just enough time to leave the station, sense that something was off.
The light is still on, like the warning light of the battery is still on.
Oh really?
Yeah, and like my screen, it stays at 12.2.
We can check them.
So we should go back here.
Same problem. The mechanic didn't have the parts, but according to him, we'd surely find them on the other side of the border. So he disconnected Quentin's headlight to conserve what was left of the battery, and we hit the road again. Destination Guatemala.
We're out of Mexico, visa cancelled, import permit cancelled for the bike. If everything is alright, we cross the border on the other side in Guatemala. We should find a shop that sells regulators big enough for our bikes, according to the mechanic that we filmed this morning. We're in Guatemala. We are in Guatemala. So we couldn't find a regulator for Quentin's bike. that would be in the next big city, which is 2 hours from here, Huehuetenango. And the plan is to, well, cross our fingers and hope that passes. And if it doesn't pass, if the battery dies, then what we're gonna do is switch batteries from my bike to his bike, because my battery will be full, then I can recharge the other one, etc, etc. Hopefully we won't need to do that, but that's the plan B. It's better than no plan B.
Switch batteries now. Start unscrewing that.
Okay, so we just stopped and switched batteries from my bike to Quentin's bike. And then we had to jump start my bike, obviously, because the battery that was on Quentin's bike was way too low to start. But it worked, so Quentin has a charged battery and I have a working bike. So we're arriving in Huehuetenango, the city where we hope to find some regulator, where we have to find regulator, because if we don't find it here, we're fucked up. ¿Tiene un regulator? Entonces voy a buscar en otro taller y si porque necesitamos algo hoy. Hola, buenos días. Okay, gracias. Casi. Solo problemas mecánicos.
Necesito una nueva regulator de batería en ese carro.
What a day. What a day. I feel completely empty. Which I am technically, because we ate 1 taco and a half an apple in the full day, and yesterday we didn't eat much neither. So I'm technically already empty. I have a huge migraine, but we made it to Huehuetenango, the city where we wanted to go today. But we made it in this town at 3:50 p.m. and all the garage closed at 4. We tried to call directly. We had one who picked up and told us they didn't have any regulators, so they could order it and have it for Monday. We have plans to leave tomorrow. We have a booking for a full week in Lago Atitlan. So it doesn't work very, very well. So we had 2 options. Either we move our booking in Lago Atitlan, stay here, but if we stay here until Monday, that means we work here as well. We stay a full work week, so until Friday, which is not the nicest option because this accommodation is nice but quite expensive, and the other one is cheap and way nicer. Second option is to go to Lago Atitlan tomorrow without regulator. That does mean we're gonna have to switch batteries from my bike to Quentin's bike several times. And then once in Lago Atitlan, the goal was anyway to stay there for a little bit, so we will have time to order a battery regulator to make it arrive in Lago Atitlan and then to charge it there. I think that's what we're doing. Should work. Very happy. I had decided to switch the batteries because at first Quentin thought like maybe we could buy a new battery again. But yeah, if we had to buy a new battery every time it was empty, that would have been very expensive. So very happy we could just switch it, jumpstart it. Very happy we travel with 2 of the same bikes. Makes everything easier. But yeah, I'm so empty. I feel like Quentin's battery right now.
Good morning. That wasn't exactly a good night. Dinner last night. Didn't want to stay. Yeah. Spend the night feeling nauseous, vomit my dinner, and I don't feel great right now, so they're gonna be a long day. But it is what it is, so I have to move. You know it's not good when I don't even want coffee. This is like a sign.
That morning, I felt really awful. I'd already been sick for several weeks in Mexico, and clearly I hadn't fully recovered. When we got up, we hesitated. Stay in Huehuetenango or hit the road anyway to reach the lake where we'd booked 2 weeks to settle in. A 3-hour ride. On paper, it seems doable, so we set off. Very quickly, I stopped actually riding. I just followed Quentin. I tried to think as little as possible. Autopilot.
By the way, this is officially the PanAmerican highway. Since yesterday actually, so since we crossed the border with Guatemala, we are on the PanAmerican highway, which is not often actually.
We stopped to swap out the batteries. Well, Quentin did everything. My only mission was to find a restroom.
How are the toilets?
All right.
Is the toilet paper?
Don't check.
Okay, moment of truth. Will the bike start without jump starting it? 1, 2, 3. Easy. Good bike.
We hit the road again. I kept following. Without really looking, without really thinking, just moving forward. Focus on not throwing up.
No, go! You go! I'm about to puke, Quentin, please!
And then at one point, there was like a blackout. A moment when everything went blank. And the next second, I was on the ground.
Okay. I have no clue what happened. I think he ran into me.
¿Moto por eso todo bien? Sí. Okay. What is that? Is that yours? Okay. Gracias para parar, gracias por ayudarnos. Muchísimas gracias, señores. Yeah, ready when you are.
Okay, so well, I just crashed. I have no idea what happened because it all went so fast. I was standing and suddenly I was on the floor At least no one is hurt, neither the family on the other bike, neither me. Both bikes are working, so I guess that's lucky. It was very impressive. I'm a bit shocked now, but yeah, now the choice to keep riding. Only my license plate is broken. Could have been way worse. And what's left of the road, I think, gonna be super tricky because that's more than an hour for only 30k. It's really not what I needed, but there is no choice. The battery has swapped. I guess thing is working well. I just didn't film anything because I needed that time to widen a bit from the crash. I think I got extremely lucky because fuck, that could have been bad. I still don't really understand everything that happened, but I do think that's my fault. Because I was the one changing lanes, and when I looked, it was clear. What is it doing? What are you doing? No, keep going. So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened, but I think I misevaluated things, tried to follow Quentin, thought I had time as well, and apparently I didn't, and checked. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was officially my very first crash. It's funny because I do think that today is my driver's license anniversary. 10 years. Yeah, I think 10 years today or yesterday I was passing my driver's license. Never had any accident, anything until today.
I felt completely out of it. Stressed, worthless. On that narrow mountain road, everything became a problem. And very quickly, I realized something was wrong with the bike. It wasn't responding the way it usually does. Left turns were fine. Right turns were much more complicated. But at the time, I thought it was me. So I clung to the only thing I could control. Staying in my lane, keeping both wheels on the ground, keep moving forward. The descent seemed endless. And then, at one point, the road opened up, and suddenly, it was all there. Lake Atitlan, immense, surrounded by volcanoes. Our destination, finally.
Everything feel alright on the motorbike?
Well, I didn't film anything after that day because I was still feeling exhausted, still feeling sick, still feeling quite shocked after the crash. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time now to talk about it a little bit after the events. And about the crash, that was entirely my fault. The first mistake is I shouldn't have ridden feeling so sick. I wasn't fully in my capacity, and yeah, I should have waited to feel better. And that's a good reminder that you need to be, full in your capacity to ride a motorcycle, because things happen fast. And that was the first mistake. And then the second mistake was the crash itself, because, well, I didn't understand anything on the moment. But what happened is I crossed lines. I insert myself into a double line, and the circulation on the other side was a bit faster than I was expecting. So cars were coming on me a little bit too fast. So I was focusing on the side, trying to cross as fast as possible, because I took a bad decision and I was just focusing on the sides, and I passed. That was good. But then going into the other lane, I didn't see the motorbike coming. I think I was too focusing on the other side that I just didn't see the bike. And what happened in my head is like, oh, that's short. Okay, that passed, all good. And the second after, I was on the floor and I didn't understand where that bike was coming from. And so entirely my bad. And I feel incredibly lucky that nothing happened. No one was hurt. Nothing happened to the other bike. That would have been dramatic. So it wasn't high speed. I was going into a lane, so it was not high speed at all. But yeah, it could have been so bad. And the road after that was not the one you want to do after a crash while being sick. It was like very narrow turns. And what I didn't know at this time, you might have seen it on the images, but during the turns, I was going very well. Like everything worked when I was turning on the left side. But every time I was turning on the right side, almost every time I was going a little bit wider than I wanted. I thought that was my fault. I thought that I was riding badly. Actually, my swing arm is bent. And that's what happened. So my back wheel is bent. And that's why I had difficulties turning. I understood everything when I arrived and constated that, that is not straight at all. So we made it safely into this little village in Huehuetenango, Guatemala. We are in San Pedro. We arrived exhausted and we actually had a mistake on our booking. We made a mistake and booked a day later. So we had no accommodation that night. The hostel we booked was full, so we had to go somewhere else. It was just like exhausted. Nothing was going well. Like, it's small things, but it was all at once. Now we have to find the parts, the swing arm, the regulator for Quentin's bike. We might have to stay here a little bit to fix the bikes, because I don't want to ride anymore with a bent wheel. I don't want to ride anymore switching batteries every hours. So we need to fix everything before going back on the road. I have the feeling that this little stop in Huehuetenango will be a little bit longer than expected. Hopefully, in the next video, I'll come back with a little bit less struggle and a little bit more sightseeing, like cool travel things, Go back to easy tourist life. We'll try. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.